boys and girls, it's our last week of distance learning and we finally made it. Not the way we planned to finish the year, but it's how it goes. So if you've noticed yesterday, a lot of our teachers were not doing any of learning activities this week per se. We are trying to do some fun things for you like we would have done if we'd been in school. We would have, the end of school would have been a lot of fun activities in May. So we're just going to stick with that. I have been doing all the mindfulness lessons, and so we're going to start out a little bit serious, and then we're going to do some fun activities as well. So, and all of it's going to be with these jars and these items over here, glue and soap and oils. I've got some gravel and dirt. I've got some food coloring. I've even got some Legos and some pipe cleaners and some glitter. So the first thing we're going to do is more serious. We're going to make a mindfulness jar since that's what we've been working on. And to do that, it recommends that you use clear Elmer's glue, but what teacher has clear Elmer's glue? We only have regular Elmer's glue, and we're not at work, so we have to use what's at our house. So if you have glue, great. If you don't, I'm going to show you some other things after the first activity, other ways that and things that you can use, different products to do similar things that we're going to do with our mindfulness jar. So you're going to put some glue in your water, and the fastest way is probably to take the lid off. So before you do any of these things, be sure to ask mom, dad, grandma, grandpa. You might want an adult around to help you out. So I'm one of those people that I don't like to measure a lot of things, so I just kind of go at pouring. So I already had my water in there. I've poured me some glue in there. We're going to do some experiments today and see how this works. So because I try to incorporate everybody, we're going to put a lot of colors in here. We just picked out what we had in our craft bin in the house, and we're going to go with it and see what we can come up with. So I'm going to put some red in there, and I'm going to put some pink for the girls that like pink, red for the people that like OU. I don't have any orange for OSU, sorry guys. Some green, maybe, ooh, red and green maybe if you like Christmas. I never know how kiddos pick their favorite colors. Ooh, blue maybe for the thunder. Ooh, I know I have some thunder fans in my class. Or maybe for 4th of July coming up. And then I've got some silver to go in there. So we're going to put those over to the side because sometimes when I get to shaking, I get a little crazy. So we're going to put those in there, and it may not be enough, and if it's not, we'll stop and put some more in. So what you're going to do is get the lid really tight and just shake. And be sure to mix all of that glue up good with your water. And it may be kind of hard for you to see, so I'm going to come a little closer. And I'm going to put, I think, a little bit, since it's kind of hard to see, I'm going to put a little bit, I've got purple here. And then I think I'm going to put some, food coloring in there to see if that will kind of speed it up where we can see some things a little bit. Blue is my favorite color. So let me see, I've got two kinds of blue here. Ooh, yeah, there we go. So this is just food coloring. So so far we've got water, we've got glue, we've got glitter. Put a little more in there. We're going to shake it up. Then we're going to kind of talk about what this does. So, like I said, I noticed while I was making this that you can't quite see all of my glitter pieces on the video, but if in person, I can see all the colors in there. But when you get it shaken up and stirred up, and we get to talking about feelings and why we're calling this a mindfulness jar, Imagine that that glitter, when you get yours made, is your thoughts. And when you've really shaken it up, it's all swirling around and just moving all different directions. And sometimes, imagine that's what we probably feel like when we're mad and upset. And we just see how all that whirls around and how all those feelings are going through our head and all those mad and angry thoughts. And it's hard to think clearly when we're mad. And so then we make silly decisions, and sometimes those are things we regret a little bit later. Because we're not thinking clearly, we're kind of all muddled together like this jar with all its glitter and things floating around. But don't worry, that's normal when we get mad and angry for our thoughts and feelings to all swirl around and kind of make us feel overwhelmed. But when you sit your jar down, the longer it sits, then all the glitter and things begins to just kind of settle down. And some will float around and some will go to the bottom, but they're not swirling around anymore. So that's kind of what it's like when we take a moment when we're mad, angry, sad, frustrated. If we can take the moment to sit down, calm down, let everything settle so it's not swirling anymore, then we begin to make better decisions and things become clearer up here, and maybe we can talk to our teacher about trouble we had on recess, or maybe talk to mom and dad about brother or sister making us angry. When we take the time to let everything settle in our jar, then we can kind of make better decisions and process in our brain the things that are going on and kind of let our emotions settle down. And sometimes when we take the time to settle down, then it's easier for us to communicate. I know when I talk to my kids and something's happened at recess or something's happened in the bathroom, or maybe it's dinner time and one comes crying and the other one's coming over there and I can't understand anything they're saying, it's because they're all swirled up because they're so mad and so angry. And they've got to have time. Sometimes I just say, just wait a minute. When everybody can talk calmly, then we'll go back to figuring out what the problem is. So that's our serious talk for today's video. But if you'll just hang on a minute, we're going to do some fun things with these other jars, and I hope you'll be able to see them a little bit better than my glitter. But I promise you it works. Whether you can see it or not, I don't know. But there's glitter all in there going everywhere, whether you can see it or not. All right, hang tight. All right, now for the fun stuff. The first one we're going to make, in case you didn't have glitter at home, we're going to use olive oil. You don't have to use olive oil. You can use glue. You can use vegetable oil. But we wanted to try this as an experiment. So we're going to put a little bit of oil in there. And yeah, I know it's expensive, but you know, come on. We're going to have some fun in quarantine here. And I'm going to put just a little bit of green food coloring. I think I got too wild over there with the blue a while ago. And then I went out to my driveway and I just got some gravel. So I want to make a little funnel here. And I'm going to pour my gravel in there, maybe. Yeah, there we go. Oh, my jar is almost full. Okay. I'm going to put my lid on that. And one thing we didn't talk about is if mom and dad are afraid for you to do this with lids like this, they can either put duct tape around them or other kind of tape around them to kind of seal them in case you're playing with them and it comes off. Or if mom and dad have a glue gun, they can put hot glue inside of it before they screw it down to stick. So here we have some oil or gravel in case you didn't have glitter. I wanted you to be able to still do it at home. So I'm going to shake this up, swirl it around, and we're going to see what happens. So some things are floating, Some things are swirling, and some things are just kind of staying to the wall of the jar or the water bottle. So that's why we also call these a little bit of an experiment. I wanted to know if you could do this at home with just the things that you have without having to go to the store. So yes, it works. The glitter does, or the rocks do go around. They don't go around as much, so if you wanted to make more than one, you could see which one, you could time it with mom and dad's phone and see which, or your tablet, and see how long it takes everything inside to settle down in the gravel one compared to how everything settles down in the glitter one. There's all kinds of things you can do. So there's one with glitter or gravel and olive oil, or any kind of oil you want to use. The next one I wanted to do was some pipe cleaners, and we just had pipe cleaners left over from some other something we had to do here. So I just cut them up into little pieces. We're going to stick them down there in this jar. And again, today's not about being wasteful, it's just about having some fun. And I chose red, gold, and blue today for the 4th of July, because I don't know about anybody else, but I'm ready for summer and warm weather. I feel better in the summer. And then I think I'm going to throw a little bit of gold glitter in there. See, it's just trial and error. Whatever you want to try to put in there to see what goes. You just do what you feel like. I don't know if you can tell from there, but I want to put it closer. If you'll notice, some of the pipe cleaners sank, and then some of them have taken a while. They're kind of just sitting on the top, and now they're going down. And then I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil, or just regular oil. We're just experimenting today. Just experimenting. There's days in class I like to just experiment, just to see what will happen. So we're going to put some oil in there. I don't know how much. Like I said, just an experiment. Let's just see. So who knows? Fill it till you feel like you're safe. Okay. Then you can shake this one too. Round and round, up and down. You can put some things in it or not, and it kind of fizzes up. And then you can kind of see how long it takes those things to fall. So that one kind of made it cloudy in there, and things settled really fast, meaning they're not swirling much. So I would say glitter swirled the most if we were doing a science experiment so far, and the pipe cleaners swirled the least once we stopped shaking, and the gravel somewhere in the middle. So what I want to do next is, one of the recipes we had called for using water and dish soap. So we're just going to mix those. We're going to mix that with some blue and gold glitter, or not gold, but purple, and see what we come up with. Like I said, you can get on the internet and find all kinds of stuff to put together to make these kinds of jars and to do some experiments with. We just went to our junk drawer and see what we could come up with. So again, the recipe didn't tell us how much soap, so I'm going to put a little bit of soap in there. If we don't like what it looks like, then I'm going to put a little more. And if you'll see, without putting any, it's hard to tell in there, but my water looks purple. I put blue and purple glitter in there with just a little bit of Dawn liquid soap, and it's still just swirling around. So that's the best swirl factor we've got so far. But it looks purple in person. So here again, just mix around and match with it. And it's just going. I'm disappointed it doesn't, on my screen, doesn't show as pretty as it is in person. All right. The next one we're gonna do. Oh yeah, we're gonna do some blue food coloring, and we're gonna put some oil in there, quite a bit this time because of what I want you to see. If it works, because like I've been telling you for 2 weeks, I've been telling you to collect your water bottles because we were going to do some fun things this week, and then some of it was going to be an experiment. So I'm going to move it closer, and this top might look yellow to you. It looks yellow for me, and the bottom is blue. Because when you put oil in water, and that's kind of why some of these things have worked out the way they have, is oil and water don't mix. And so one thing that I had read about was doing this one and laying it on its side, and I may have put too much water in there, but it'll eventually, if you kind of go like this, it's kind of like an ocean effect. The water can kind of go back and forth in there. And like I said, that's probably going to be real hard for you to see, but in person, probably need to put a little bit less water than we did and more oil. And when you lay it on its side, you can kind of pretend that it's the ocean. It kind of makes a wave. So that's one of the things you can do. This one you'll need to be careful. Mine's, I can tell, is leaking a little bit. So you just want to make sure that when they have food coloring and things in them, that you get that really sealed good. So just a conversation with mom and dad even about how oil and water don't mix. But we have oil and water in a lot of things. We have oil and water in cakes and cookies. They don't mix when it's just the two of them, but when you put other things with them, they do mix. And it's just the strangest thing when you're a kid to kind of make those discoveries. So we've got oil and water for that one. Other things you can do is you can put paper clips down in your water, and you can put, again, glue or oil, and see kind of how those work. I might try one for just a second here. And I'm going to put some paper clips down in there, and yeah, they're going to be yucky, and no, mom's not going to want to use them after you put them in here, but it'll be okay. Mom will live. And let's see, I'm going to put this multicolored. You can put all kinds of things in there. They don't all have to be the same thing. They can be multiple things. You could put a rock. I saw some little pretend little balls, some eyeballs, just anything you can get to fit in a water bottle. And maybe if you have a chance to go to the store, you can find some water bottles that have a little bit bigger hole. I don't really want you using a glass jar because if you drop it, then you've got glass everywhere and that might hurt somebody. But same thing. So you can notice that your glitter is floating on top. You can notice that your paper clips and the glue are at the bottom. And then see what happens when you shake it. And once it all settles down, this one's going to stay smoky for a little bit. And see how long it settles. You can put food coloring in there. You can put Legos if you want to part with some Legos. My kiddos didn't want me to put their Legos in there, but I told them I wanted to show you. You can put Legos in there with those paper clips. You can put beads. I have some of this craft stuff that some of your moms and grandmas might have. You can cut it up and put it down in there and see how long things sink or float. See what separates. So we've got our blue one here that was just dish soap and water is actually one of the better ones we did today. That and our ocean one. Okay. So just some fun stuff to leave you with for the summer. You may not get to do them this week, but maybe one day over the summer and you think, oh, Mom, Did everybody save their water bottles? I want to do some experiments. And just like I've told you in all our other videos, I can't wait to see some of you when it comes fall. And for you to come tell me if you made one of these with rocks or with pipe cleaner and gold or with food coloring and glitter. I can't wait to hear your stories. I can't wait to hear about your yoga stories that we've been working on. Um, I'm just so excited. Everybody at Bernard is so disappointed we couldn't finish out school this year. I've taught for a long time and I've never experienced this. And I hope we don't have to do it again. But hopefully this week you'll get to do some fun activities with the teachers online. And then we'll get to see you soon at either enrollment or when school starts in the fall. And you can tell us all about these things. I know some teachers were doing some campfire jokes this week and some other fun stuff. And maybe we can hear you guys tell us those jokes when we come back in the fall. We just can't wait. We are very sad, but we can always look to the future, okay? Do some science experiments. Make a mindfulness jar and think about how we make those crazy decisions when our world is turned upside down and everything's going around and we're just not thinking clearly when we come back to school or maybe while you're home. And then watch it as it all settles down. And when it all settles down, then go back and talk to mom and dad or talk to grandma or grandpa or talk to your brother or sister or someone else important in your life or when we get back to school. So many things are so much easier when we settle down, like the glitter in the jar. Well, we'll see you soon and have a safe, fun summer and can't wait to see you in the fall. Bye-bye.